I'm Janice Edwards. Coming up on Signature Silicon Valley, Brendan Rawson and Wally Schnally from San Jose Jazz are here with a preview of the San Jose Jazz Festival. Silicon Valley Community Foundation CEO Dr. Emmett Carson chats about the state of our valley. Then from Antioch Baptist Church, Reverend Gregory Lawson is with us, and Sandra Daly from the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet joins us as well. That's all coming up next. It's a great show. Join us. Welcome to Signature Silicon Valley. I'm Janice Edwards. When it comes to creating a signature in our valley, the San Jose Jazz Festival has done that for 25 years. Joining us, we have the Executive Director, Brendan Rawson, and Wally Schnally, who's a drummer and also a staff member for the San Jose Jazz Summer Camp. Welcome, gentlemen. Nice to see you. Brendan, welcome back to the set.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to be here.
Yes, 25 years. Congratulations. That's a milestone.
Yeah, it's a big one for us. We're very excited. 25th anniversary for the Summerfest. The organization's been around a little bit longer, but we're trying to celebrate in the best way possible. A lot of new stuff for this year's festival. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, and this is which time in August? We'll put it on the screen later.
August 8 to 10.
8 to 10, so you can put it on your calendar and plan for that. And Wally, how long have you been affiliated with San Jose Jazz?
For 26 years, probably. Yeah, I was involved with the first jazz festival on organization levels, and I've played at many of them over the years. And I've been a clinician for San Jose Jazz, and now the camp director. So it's it's a great thing for the community, and I'm really proud to be involved with it for that many years.
It must be exciting to see how it's changed. And when you mention the kids, I'm wondering too, how do they respond? What's a jazz camp like?
Oh, it's great. We have the kids for 2 weeks. They get to they learn about improv, composition, playing in different sorts of ensembles and big bands, with New Orleans band, Latin jazz. And we changed the camp to have a tagline: "Discover the possibilities," because it's really about them learning little bits that they can take and start some fires with, right, and grow with. So we have a great concert at the end of the 2 weeks, and you see those kids that or I don't know if I can do this, at the end they're like, I did it. That's what's the best part, really.
The love of it. And you started drumming in the 5th grade, so you know all about having an early love for music that lasts a lifetime.
Oh yeah, it was. I knew in the 3rd grade I wanted to play drums, and then had to wait till the 5th grade. and then I actually got involved in Silicon Valley and was working Workaday World, and in '84 I quit my job and been doing full-time musician since then.
That's awesome. I wanted to play the drums years ago, and my mother wouldn't let me join the all-boy band across the street, so I have a special place in my heart for drummers.
There you go, good.
So Brendan, I know that for you, you've been with San Jose Jazz for a couple of years now, and you really are dedicated to continuing to expand it. So this year, how many acts will be there?
It's actually about 115 acts that'll perform from Friday night to Sunday evening. It's a lot. It's 12 different stages at the festival, 5 of them outdoors, a few different indoor venues. We added this year a couple of great venues. Blackbird Tavern and Cafe Stritch are new stages. Blackbird was on board last year. And we also moved our youth stage. Will be in the Plaza de Cesar Chavez this year on the south end. So kind of want to really highlight our youth performance. Actually, Wally did a great thing this year. Some of the kids from camp will be featured opening up the main stage for us. So it's a nice element to add.
Them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
be
wonderful.
Great.
Some of the headliners, Lettucey is one of them?
Lettucey. Friday night, start off with Bootsy Collins and Confunction.
Oh my gosh.
So that'll be a great.
Take us back.
Yeah, a great dance party.
Right.
Actually on the salsa stage that night, a couple of great acts, Jimmy Bosch and also Pacific Mambo Orchestra, who won Grammy this year for Latin Tropical Album. So that's just Friday night starting. And then some other great stuff. David Sanborn, Joey DiFrancesco on Sunday. A great singer, Nicole Henry. We're going to be in the California Theater this year too, which is a new venue for us.
Wow.
And so that's a beautiful setting for some of the performances. Nicole is performing with a full jazz orchestra, so that'll be a great thing to see.
It's incredible. Now, at this point, are people calling you saying, I really want to play here, or do you have to beg them to come?
You know what, the most interesting part about how much folks know of the festival is how much outside the country basically. We have artists coming this year: Japan, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Netherlands, and Argentina. There's a tango quartet that's coming. So we get a lot of interest from Latin America to perform at the festival, which is a lot of fun. And then this year is 3 different performances of artists from Japan that are also going to be there. So it'll be great.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, the pity is that you don't get to see much of it at all because you're running around.
Right, there's a little bit of a challenge.
Do you get to steal at least a little time to see something
I
on
really
stage?
try to make an effort to carve out some piece of the day to actually go and just enjoy it and soak it in, because it's quite ephemeral. You know, the day disappear and then it's another year before you're presenting it again. So it's got to take those chances to appreciate it.
What do you find most personally rewarding about this?
You know, seeing the amount of the breadth of the community that comes together for the festival. We're programming so many different Latin and big bands and funk and R&B and youth performances. So you get this broad cross-section of the community that comes out for the festival. And seeing all of those different types of folks really enjoying music on a great San Jose summer day is it's very fulfilling.
How about you, Wally? What do you like best about your work?
Oh, well, for the festival, I love performing.
How many nights will you be performing?
Well, it turns out that weekend I'll be playing 3 times at the festival, and then a couple other gigs, and I'll be playing with Marcus Wolf's Parker 51 on Friday night, just in time. It's only an hour set, so I have time to get over and see Bootsy. and then on Saturday I'll be playing with I just released a new CD of my own compositions. It's my 9th CD, and it's called Idiot Fish. And it's a fusion band that uses some electronica and visuals and stuff. So I'm real excited about that.
Yeah. Idiot Fish.
Yeah. There's kind of a long story, but no, it's not really. And then on Sunday I'll be performing with one of the South Bay's treasures, John Worley, who is doing Miles of Blue, which is we did it a few times. It really is well received. It's we redo all of Miles Davis' Kind of Blue and some other pieces, but with the original arrangements, and it's just wonderful. Yeah. So I'm that, and being able to see some other music is, you know, for me it's always a great, you know, highlight of the year.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah. Can you tell us the short version of the title?
Well,
Idiot Fish.
Actually, yeah, I'll show you the picture. I was actually in an Asian market and walking by the fish counter there, and I looked over and it said "Idiot, $4.99 a pound." And then there was all the jokes like, well, you know, they're easy to catch, and and then actually Bruce Labadie, the director, hooked me on the Jazz Beyond stage, and he wanted something a little bit different that year, and I had been working on this electronica and jazz project, and so he booked it as Wally Schnelly, and I thought, well, no, I have a bunch of CDs that are my jazz infusion. I was Wally Schnelly, so I called him back and said, change the name to Idiot Fish, and then it stuck ever since.
So that's great. Well, I think you both, we've got genius here, far from idiot in that way, but certainly that's a memorable title for the CD, which is available, I'm sure everywhere. We'll put that information on the screen, as well as information about the Jazz Festival. The details are on our screen. Don't miss it. Dr. Emmett Carson heads the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, and recently I caught up with this busy man to find out what's the latest in terms of the foundation's focus. We are on location at the Silicon Valley Community Foundation in the office of Dr. Emmett Carson, CEO and President. Normally he joins us in studio, but today we are on location with him. And great to see you again, and congratulations. I know that one of your recent initiatives was very successful. Want to share more about that one?
Well, thank you for being here. Silicon Valley Gives was a major success for our community. It involved supporting nonprofits in San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. We raised over $8 million in a 24-hour period, and over 14,800 people participated. So it was just phenomenal.
That is incredible, and it's so wonderful that so many nonprofits will benefit in that way. Now, these nonprofits were the ones to which you traditionally give, as well as others, correct?
Absolutely. Any nonprofit in the 2 counties was eligible to participate.
Are you seeing the increase in terms of nonprofit needs at this time?
We are. You know, our community is a tale of really 2 cities. On the one hand, for some in our community, things have never been better. For others in our community, things have never been more difficult. The transportation challenges, the housing challenges, our educational system isn't what it should be. So across the spectrum, there are growing problems, and obviously the nonprofit sector is there to try to help address some of those problems.
Yes, and certainly with the Give campaign, that's something where everyone gets involved. It's like crowdsourcing in a way. When it comes to the funding and benefactors for the foundation, are you seeing an increase, decrease, or what's been happening on that level?
Well, we're seeing an increase. We're seeing more
goodness.
people being generous and creating funds, and we're seeing those who have funds increasing their gifts to the nonprofits of their choice. So,
How do you make the decisions regarding how you allocate the funds?
well, we work with donors who make the recommendations from their funds to the nonprofits that really touch them and move them. We try to identify community needs and bring those to the attention of donors, and those are needs that they may not have already been familiar with. We also have a set of monies, we call it unrestricted dollars, that our board gets to determine how they're directed. We have 5 areas of work for those funds. Middle school math, we work on what we call financial security, economic development, education, and then we have what we call a broad catch-all opportunity fund for areas that are going on. I think I may have said education twice, and if I did, regional planning is what I meant to say.
That's excellent. Also, you have some parenting programs.
Yes, one of our newest initiatives is the Center for Early Learning, where we brought different initiatives under one umbrella to focus very deeply on the issue of earlier learning. And this is that 0 to 7 before kids enter school, and that work where the brain is just developing. And so we created a new Center for Early Learning. They just released a new research project called the Parent Story Project with some fascinating materials that they uncovered. We often go to the doctor, and the first thing the doctor say to you is, what brings you in the office today? Where does it hurt? We've never before in our 2 communities asked parents, how can we help you parent better? What do you need for your kids to be a more successful parent? We found some very interesting things. One thing, 1/3 of the parents had experienced depression in the past year, or sadness in the past year. 20%, high level, 20% were interested in moving their kids to a different school. So we found some very interesting things that now educators, corporations, businesses, employers really can now look at that information and say, how can we build a safety net around these parents so that they can be more successful because they're the primary people on point for educating their kids.
Yes, and that's wonderful, because many times when we hear about students dropping out, what we realize is that 3 or 4 years before, there was some disconnect around the school, the sense of engagement, the parents feeling empowered, and that leads to the other problems. So really, that's what the foundation is all about, giving our whole community a foundation of health, success, vision that can lead to greater opportunities and greater health for all of us in the Valley and beyond.
Absolutely.
Yes. It's wonderful to talk with you about what's going on, and I'm so glad that you could spend some time with us. We're actually going to stop here, and we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Carson in our next show. If you'd like to contact the Silicon Valley Community Foundation, the details are on our screen. Earlier this summer, I had the pleasure of moderating a mayoral forum right here at Antioch Baptist Church. So we are on location with Reverend Gregory Lawson, who is the senior pastor in the interim of this historic church, which has been the subject of documentaries and many community events. Reverend, thank you so much for having us back here.
Welcome to Antioch.
Yeah, we're glad to be here. Now, I know that you've been with the church for just a few months now, but you have several initiatives that are really important. One has to do with back to school.
Yes, in August, around August 13th, we will have a back to school prayer service here for the students, the parents, teachers, and administrators on Wednesday from 7 until about 8:30.
That's wonderful, and we'll have that information on our screen as well at the end of the interview.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's so important about that is this is a really pivotal time, and we see in our community there's a great spiritual need. What do you consider the best way to address the spiritual hunger that you see people in need of, people having the need with right now?
Well, first of all, we need to find out really what other needs they have. When you begin to reach the other needs, then they're open to the spiritual needs. Before Jesus preached the word, he first fed the people. So we need to find out the needs of the people and then give them what they really need. So you have to be relevant, meet people where they are, and let them know that you care about them first.
Yes, that love is such an important element. You also recently started something for youth on Friday nights, and I think that that's one of the things that you've really tried to communicate to them is that no matter what they're doing or what kind of challenges they face, that they are truly loved.
Yes, we have what is called Friday Night Live, and it's for youth of all ages. We meet them where they are, we're relevant, we let them know that this is a safe place where they can let their hair down, and that it's all about them. It's all about them. So we do things that really interest them. And then again, we introduce them to Jesus Christ.
So they have an opportunity to really set standards with that and have some guidelines when it comes to making choices. I mentioned at the opening that Antioch Baptist Church is known because of its historical nature, and the documentary that Professor Michael Cheers did about it talked about some of that. But you recently, in August, celebrated a milestone this month. And how many years now?
The church is 121 years young.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so many historical events have taken place right here. As you've become acquainted with the congregation and Silicon Valley, what have you found most rewarding about this experience so far?
Well, the people of Antioch love their church and they love their community. They're interested in reaching the whole community. And they know that to be effective in ministry, you have to be holistic. You have to deal with the mind, the body, and the soul. So that's what we're doing at Antioch.
Yes. And speaking of holistic, too, another of your concerns is dealing with jobs. And in our next segment, you're going to stay with us. We'll be back in the studio talking with Sandra Daly from the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet. But in terms of your congregation, in terms of the people who come for the meal ministry that you have, you're seeing just really such a great need, especially in the African American community.
Yes. We're actually serving the Asian and also Hispanic communities. We serve about 200 families each week. So some everybody come to Antioch because they have physical needs. And we let people know that they are loved. We're here to serve them, and it's a privilege to serve them. So that is a long-standing ministry at Antioch, the food ministry. We're very proud of that ministry. A lot of those people are now members of the church, and they're serving other people now. So we believe that we're here to serve.
Yes, and it's really paying it forward in that way. Earlier in the show, we were talking with Wally Schnally, who said he became a drummer in the 5th grade, and you began preaching at the age of 5. Now, was that just to your home congregation, or was that in an actual church?
Well, actually, a lady overheard me preaching through a window fan. And when she heard me preaching, she called me Reverend Lawson when I was only 5 years old. She asked me she was my next door neighbor, she asked me to preach to her family and the people in the neighborhood. So I began preaching on the porch, and that group began to grow. More and more people began to come just to hear this boy preacher. She called me Reverend Lawson when I was 5. She placed a crown high over my head. So every day since then, I've been trying to grow tall enough to wear that crown.
Well, you're doing a great job here, and people continue to talk about what's happening at Antioch. That's very exciting, and I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. I should mention in full disclosure that I have known you for years, and it's wonderful to see what's developing. So thank you again.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. If you'd like to know more about what's going on at Antioch Baptist Church, we have contact information on our screen. Joining us now, we have Sandra Daly, who is co-chair of the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet. And we're talking about issues in the African American community, but the name kitchen and food has come up in the break. And that's because, in addition to all of the things we're going to discuss, Sandra has Sandy's Cobbler, which you can enjoy at the San Jose Jazz Festival. And we're going to forgive her for not bringing us some today and allow her to continue. So,
thank you.
Sandra, welcome to the set. And you know what you have to do next time you come, right?
Yes, next time there will be cobblers and all flavors.
Right. And I mentioned you're the co-chair
Yes.
for the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet,
Yes.
but you also just won a lucrative contract, which is a first for a woman-owned business.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yes, Sandy's Cobbler Cups has been awarded the very first women-owned business for the Levi Stadium.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So the cobblers will be served in their concession stands. And so they selected the peach and mixed berry.
Oh.
And
Very good.
so I'll be working in collaboration with Centerplate, who's the company that has the catering contract. And from there,
Congratulations.
hopefully, go to the other stadiums across the country.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful.
Thank
And,
you.
You know, one of the things we want to talk about now are opportunities, especially for
Yes.
African Americans in Silicon Valley. For people who don't know about the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet, please explain exactly what the group does.
So what we do is it's a collaborative group of individuals that meet once a month. And basically, we meet and people come to discuss issues, concerns throughout Silicon Valley that represent and affect the African American community. And so when I first attended my first meeting, I was involved with the San Jose History Park.
Oh, yes.
The African American Heritage House, in which my aunt was the founder of that home.
Really?
And became, yes, and so her and I, as well as the other family members, got together we were able to secure that last house at History Park to be the African American Heritage House.
Excellent.
So in doing that, somebody had said, hey, does the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet know about that? I'm like, well, who are they? And so from then on, I started attending and basically got to introduce the African American Heritage House. And so in doing so, it then opened up lots of opportunity, not just for myself, but I saw other community members, from educators to professionals, moms, dads, grandparents, people who felt they needed to have an outlet to talk and have a resource to come and talk and help what's going on within the African Americans in Silicon Valley.
Yes,
so
because-
it could be job related, it could be academics for our youth, our kids, and it also can just be a business saying, you know, I'm having problems, I need your support. So we basically come together every month and we bring a guest speaker. And a guest speaker is usually, it can be from city officials to educators, to authors. And we have an agenda that is discussed and prepared prior to the meeting with myself as co-chair and Andre Chapman, co-chair.
From Unity Care.
Yes,
He's
from
been a
Unity
guest here as
Care,
well.
yes. And so what we do is we get together and we go through the agenda and then we prepare the agenda. And the speaker who we have representing, we always send them the questions that we want to address. We put those questions out to the Black Leadership Kitchen Cabinet community and say, does anybody have concerns or would like certain questions you want to ask this individual who's going to be speaking? Because there's no surprises. It's
Right.
all about solutions.
And solutions are definitely needed because we've seen
Yes.
the population of African Americans dwindle in Silicon Valley. It's
Yes.
2.8%.
2.8%.
Right now. So in terms of jobs, as you were saying earlier, Reverend Lawson, and what's needed, what kind of solutions are you looking towards and what kind of feedback have you gotten from political leaders?
Well, you know what we're finding right now is the political leaders are very open and receptive to our organization. They're listening, they're reacting, they're supporting. So it's not just talk. A lot of times people come to the table and talk about, yes, we're going to help you, yes, we're going to do that. But this group, we make sure the accountability.
So how
Okay.
can we look for that in terms of the future? It's great that they're
Yes.
listening, and as we're talking about the need for jobs and also the fact that because it's a small population,
Yes.
then in terms of voice and people seeing the importance of being responsive, that's something that is sometimes a challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge, and that's where the community comes together of the African American descent. We come together, and it just doesn't happen once a month. It's ongoing. The communication is ongoing. We use Facebook. We're using our social media. We're in collaboration with the African American Community Service Center, and also the educators. The school districts are very strategic in helping us make sure that our kids are being represented. They're coming to the meetings.
The kids are.
Some of the students are coming to the meetings.
That is so important. It's just like
Absolutely.
they're coming to church, they're coming to the meetings.
Yes.
So this is very important
Yes.
for our youth. We have so much to talk about, and we are pretty much
Yes.
out of time. But I know that the forum was at the church, and you and Reverend Lawson
Yes.
met there as
Yes.
well. So what are your thoughts about why that particular spiritual component is
Oh,
important?
that was just amazing. Just knowing that, being in the house of the Lord, that we're all listening and we're all being guided. We're brought there together. And the subjects and the discussion, the questions that were asked was very strategic within the African American community. And it wasn't just African Americans that were there at the forum.
Exactly.
We got to see and bring the community together.
Right. And I know you have several initiatives for the Latino community as well. Yeah.
Yes, our congregation consists of about 20% of Hispanics, and we want to make sure that they're also in leadership roles also at Antioch. We pretty much reflect the community. Everybody is at Antioch.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that's great to see. Well, I wish we had more time, but I thank you both for being here. Thank you for the work that you're doing, and thanks for making sure that we have cobbler when we go to games in the future.
Yes.
At any rate, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I'm
you.
Janice Edwards. Thanks for putting your signature on our Valley. Please join us again next time. We look forward to seeing you then.